a somatics practice for the hips and legs. We'll be repatterning the lower body to create ease and least effort in your walking. Begin in a Somatic position, lengthening out through the legs, resting the weight of the arms on the floor, and allowing your body weight to sink down into the ground. Gently slowing the breath and easing away any tension as you lay the body out. And for this practice, noticing more specifically the turning out of the feet and the way this turning out follows up through the calves, your knees, and the opening at the front of the pelvis as the weight of the legs stretch long. Can you gain a sense between your left and your right leg? Do they feel the same? Or if you were to choose, is there one leg that feels different to the other? Maybe deeper set or more rotated outwards? Bringing your awareness up to the pelvis now, noticing how the hip bones sit at the top of the pelvis, how the back of the sacrum integrates through the floor. Do you feel perfectly balanced? Or are you able to detect any asymmetries within your body? Filing away any of this information so we can return to it at the end. If you'd like to bend up both of your knees and bring your feet flat to the floor, so we can reach a constructive rest position. Paying particular attention to your feet neither being too close nor too far apart from the bottom. Can you allow the pelvis to float neatly on the floor? No tension through the upper thighs. Can you relax through the feet? And then just surfing on the breath, coming into an arch and flatten movement. Inhaling to arch, rolling the tail away. Exhaling to flatten, rolling the tail back up. So as you imagine this movement, pelvis into hip sockets, your breath gently oscillating that movement of the hip bones back and forth. Do you feel as though both hip bones oscillate evenly? Or do you have a greater sense of mobility one side to the other? As soon as you're ready, I'm going to ask you to lengthen out your right leg long, keeping the left knee bent. Relaxing the leg to the floor. Just noticing how comfortable you are to do this. How willing is that leg to come long? Or does it feel as though it pulls your back into a little extension as it does so? And then working deeply with the breath as you inhale and arch. The lower back comes away from the floor. As you exhale and flatten, you'll just float the heel a little way from the ground, feeling as though that leg connects right into your navel as you lift up. You'll slowly, slowly, slowly lower down, turning everything off. Inhaling to arch, Exhaling to flatten. Floating the heel. Connecting deep into center to lift the weight of the leg upwards. And then pandiculating the psoas muscle joined to the lower back as you slowly lower the leg down. Turn it all off. Allow the muscles to come to their longest point as you relax and come in again. So just in your own time, taking it twice more. Aiming to make the movement as smooth and fluid as possible. And then as you come down this time, totally relax the waist of the leg. Slide the heel out to the right side, so just off the edge of your mat. And we'll take the same again, and you'll feel this connect right into the inside of the inner thigh. So as you inhale and arch, the lower back comes away. As you exhale and flatten, just float the heel just where it is, connecting right through to the inside of the thigh. Keeping the toes turned out, slowly, slowly lower down. Relax and release. Turn it all off. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten. Floating the heel. And slowly down. Sure that you turn everything off each time and in between. And then we'll take one last repetition on this side. Totally relaxing now. We'll add an extra movement to that lift. So this time, as you flatten, you're going to lift the leg, inwardly rotate the foot until the knees touch, and then externally rotate the whole leg to come all the way back down. So inhale, arch, exhale, flatten. Rotate a full hip joint, so imagining that your hip joint is rolling around your acetabulum inside your hip. Slowly lower all the way down to create that beautiful arc. Turn it all off. Inhale, arch, exhale, flatten. Internally rotate. Rolling the hip joint as a whole into center. And then externally rotating it back out. We'll take it twice more. So imagining each time that you lift and roll the hip joint around, you're lubricating that joint's ability to move so it becomes smooth and easy. Last one here. When you come down this time, if you'd like to step that foot back towards center and lengthen out both the legs for a moment. This is a good point to examine how one leg feels different to the other. And you could ask yourself here how long both of the legs feel. Do they interface with the ground in a different way? Noticing any sensation within the pelvis and the hip joint itself. And whenever you have created an image of how your imprint looks now, just sliding up that right knee bent and then leaving the left long. So again now, working on that arch and flatten. We'll take the same movement to this side. So inhale to arch, exhale to flatten. You'll float the heel of the left leg just a little away from the floor. Finding that connection, right leg to navel. Slowly down. Turn it all off. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten. Floating the heel up. Feeling that deep connection to center as you take the weight of the leg away from the floor. It matters little how high that lifts. Take one last one up in this position. And then stepping that heel out just to the side. A slight change in position already externally rotates the feet, so you're just going to float the heel. So as you inhale and arch, exhale and flatten, and you'll feel that movement come just through the inside of the thigh this time. Still connecting to center, deep within the pelvis. Turn it all off. Inhale to arch. Exhale, flatten, engage that movement all the way down through the leg. Smoothly float the heel. Lower slowly down. Whenever you've taken a 4 on that side, turning it all off. So relaxing it down this time, completely relaxing. And we'll add that extra rotational movement of the hips. So this time as you arch and then flatten, you'll internally rotate the toes and the whole of the leg joint. So rotating all the way in until the knees touch. And then slowly, slowly lowering back down to the floor in that arc. Inhale to arch, exhale, flatten. This is a good point to notice how much energy it's costing you to lift on this side. Is it more or less than the other side? Can you be more controlled or smoother with your transition between one leg and the other? Whenever you have taken 4 repetitions of that movement, feel free to lengthen out both the legs. The feet a little more into center, softening the body down. Turning everything off for a moment, completely relaxing. Taking any comparisons that you may be able to draw between one side and the other. Is there any more balance available to you now within the pelvis and the weight of both of the legs? Do your legs feel a little more balanced or even in their position in the floor? And whenever you are ready, I'm going to ask you to Move your way over onto your side. So coming over into that sideways position, taking any support for your head that you might need, anything that would make you feel more comfortable to lay on your side. Stacking up the back of the head with the back of the hips, head to tail, knees bent, and your feet travelling neatly down from the knees. We're going to take a movement that allows the hips to come in circles. So we'll start the circle by working from neutral to draw the hip up towards the shoulder. So as you draw the hip up towards the shoulder, you'll find that your side body shortens and you'll come back to neutral. So it's as though you're trying to reach your hip up towards your armpit. And then back down. Keeping your leg as relaxed as you possibly can. And then from neutral here, we're going to take it in the opposite direction. So from neutral, you're going to reach your hip down and away, lengthening your top side body. And then back to neutral again. Joining those two movements together, you're going to create your longest line. So reaching the hip down and away from you, and then up all the way towards the armpits. So you're creating a nice long line, lengthening and shortening in your waist as you do. So it's as though the movement doesn't just sit within the hip joint, it's the rotation of the whole of the pelvis up and down, as well as the side body. Noticing how straight or easy it is to move in both directions. Is there one direction that is more tricky to stay smooth? And then pausing at neutral again. Now we've taken the line in that direction, we'll take it in the opposite direction. So this time, drawing the knee forwards of the bottom knee and back to neutral. So the body almost tilts a little forwards and then back to neutral again. The knee will slide forwards of the bottom knee. Seeing how smoothly you can reach forward on that side. And then when you come back to neutral this time, you're going to go all the way past neutral and back. So you're reaching the hip back behind you. The top knee will slide back of the bottom knee and then all the way forward. So just taking it back to neutral. Rocking the pelvis back a little and into neutral. So it's quite normal for some of these directions to be more tricky than others. And then you're going to take it on its longest horizontal line, so all the way forwards, all the way back. Seeing how smoothly you can transition from one side to the other. So once we've cut a groove for all four directions, could you plot those points in a circle and go around its perimeter edge? So drawing all the way up towards the shoulder first, all the way either forwards or back, all the way down, lengthening the hip and the side body as you reach down, all the way back, and all the way back up again. So drawing a nice, even, smooth circle with your hip. Initially, your circle may feel a little more pointy or jagged. But what would it feel like, even if you can't make it happen today, for that circle to be a smooth, easy, fluid movement? And then changing direction in your own time. Taking it back in the opposite movement around your perimeter edge. Still keeping it easy. Noticing if there's any juddering, jumping or jerking, shaking movements. Giving your brain time to catch up about those movements and where you want to move to. And pausing, coming back to neutral. Settling into that point of stillness for just a few moments. And then in your own time, rolling yourself over onto your other side. Stacking yourself up in just the same way. Lining the tail up with the back of the head, knees bent, arms on together. And we'll start this movement this time by reaching the hip down away from the ears. So a little bit of novelty for the brain. You're going to reach the hip down and away from the ears to lengthen the side body. And then back to neutral. So often there's a sense quite early on here when you've changed sides, or one side of your body feeling a little more alien to the other. And over the course of these next few movements, we'll start to get to know the movement a little better. It will become smoother and easier. And then when you come back to neutral this time, you're going to hike the hip up towards the armpit and take it back to neutral. So this time shortening in the top side waist and coming away, keeping the leg nice and relaxed. Make it as easy as you possibly can. Then we're going to join the two lines up, so making a maximum line of drawing all the way up to the shoulders, hiking the hip, and all the way down and away from the ears. You'll see the side body concertina shortening as you draw the hip up, and lengthening as it comes down and away. And when you next come back to neutral, pausing there, and we'll take it in the other direction. So this time we will slide the knee backwards of the bottom knee. So the body tilts back a little, the knee slides backwards of the bottom knee and comes back to neutral again. How smoothly can you tilt the body back and come back to neutral. And then this time you're going to edge forwards of the bottom knee and back to neutral. So reaching forwards, lengthening the leg forwards and coming back to neutral. And then you're going to join both lines together, so moving all the way back, all the way forwards, on that horizontal line. The body will roll a little one way, roll a little the other. Gradually easing in a tiny amount of movement within the hip and the pelvis as you rock easily back and forth. And then we'll join those two movements together, all the way forwards, back, up and down, to create a circle all around your perimeter edge. So whichever direction you want to take, you'll draw the hip up, round, and immediately seeing how easy and comfortable that feels within the body. You may find that it's useful to make the movement very small before you start to make it larger. What's more important is the move is smooth and easy. And as you start to relax in the movement, you can gradually begin to make it a little bigger. You may take in a little more within the torso as the movement becomes larger and smoother. And then taking it in the other direction as soon as you're ready, reaching with the hip. Imagining that ball and socket joint rolling around as you roll the pelvis in its full circle. And pausing whenever you're ready. Turn it all off for a few moments. Take a minute for this stillness to sink in. And then when you're ready, we'll get you to roll over onto your front so we can do some leg lifts. So taking up a comfortable position, laying on your front. Legs outstretched behind you. Forming an interlocked position for the hands, for the head to rest like a pillow. Take a moment to sink your body weight down in this new position. Your body's having a new conversation with the floor now you've rolled over. Can you relax through your glutes, your lower back, your legs? We're going to concentrate on the left leg first. I'd like you to very slowly lift the left leg away from the floor, consciously engaging the left glute and not the right. To lift up, and then slowly, slowly lower down. Turning it all off, disengaging the glute, and then coming back in. So the glutes will engage first, their friends the hamstrings will pick up in the back of the leg, and the foot will raise off the floor. And then you'll slowly, slowly, with as much control as possible, lower down. Turning it all up. And then coming into one more lift. Slowly down. Again, turning it all off. Checking that you're not having to turn off the other leg too. And then we'll swap your attention over to the other side. And this time engaging that right glute. The hamstrings will engage. The foot will float effortlessly up and slowly back down. Turning it all off. Coming back in. So the question we can ask again here is, how much effort is it costing to lift and lower the legs? Taking this one more time. We're going to alternate from one side to another. So lifting one leg, engaging the glute, slowly lowering and turning it off. And then once that leg's turned off, you'll engage the other glute and lift that leg. So this is much a lesson in turning everything off, as it is a lesson in not using things that aren't required. So you don't need both glutes to lift one leg, which is often something that happens within walking. And then we'll lift the right one for the last time. Turning it all off. Totally relaxing for a moment. Make sure that you have relaxed everything down, easing in the lower back too. And then whenever you are ready, you can start to turn yourself back onto your back again with the knees bent. Making any movements you feel you need to make on the way to lying back down onto the mat. And the feet relatively close together now, softening as much as you need to. We've taken the hips in lots of different directions, and we're going to add yet another movement for the hips and pelvis. So this time you're going to slowly start to drop out the right knee to the right side. So you roll onto the blades of the foot as you drop the knee out, slowly lowering it down. Keep the other one smiling up towards the ceiling. And then you're slowly, slowly, slowly pandiculating the inside of the thigh to draw the knee back up to center. Ready to take it again. So you can add a little arch and flatten here as you do so. So as you exhale and flatten, you draw the knee up. And as you inhale and arch, you drop the knee down. It's as though the hip joint rides the pelvis as it arches and flattens. Keeping it really slow and smooth. Take it one last time. And then we'll swap over to the other side. So as you come up this time, if you want to add that arch and flatten, as you arch, the knee lowers down. As you exhale and flatten, that flatten travels from the pelvis up through the inside of the thigh to draw back up to center. Slowly releasing. You may notice each time you come down that you may release a little closer to the floor each time. Whenever you have taken 4 on this side, pause in the center for a moment. Regain a sense of balance between both sides of pelvic halves. Before stepping the feet just a little wider than the edges of your mat. So this depends greatly on how long your legs are. So you may need to adjust how far your feet come. We'll concentrate on the right leg first, and keeping the left knee staring up at the ceiling still. You're going to drop your right knee down towards your left heel. So slowly dropping in. You'll find this tips your body inwards. And then you'll slowly draw back up to center. And taking it again. So slowly dropping down. Can you tilt and rock the body over so the body weight tips onto that opposite side? And then slowly draw back up. So this time we're actively pandiculating the outer muscles of the leg. Taking the hips in yet another one of its amazing movements. Then we're going to swap over to the other knee. So dropping the opposite knee down to the opposite ankle. Keeping this time the right knee smiling up towards the ceiling. The left knee rolls in and down towards the ankle. Seeing how smoothly you can transition. That left knee comes in, you lengthen from knee into hip, hip into pelvis, pelvis up into the side body as you rock your weight over to one side. And then grounding down to rock back up to center. Take another one on this side. When you come up to center this time, we're going to alternate from one knee to the other. So every time one knee drops, the other one will stay up. So rather than coming into a twist. So one knee drops in, you rock from one side. Aiming to keep the other knee up if you can. And then coming to the other side. So the upright knee stays up, the other knee drops into the ankle. And this is a slight exaggeration of what we would do as we walked. And then you're going to become a little more easy and free with the movement, rolling a little lighter, maybe a little faster or smoother, and gradually allowing both knees to drop down as they come over. So this time it will feel a little more like a twist. Both knees drop one way, the body rocks and rolls, almost windscreen wipers its way down. And then draws back up to center. And it windscreen wipers the other way. Taking one more either side. Feel the side body lengthen as the knee reaches. You can reach a little further with that knee if you need to, or if it feels good. As you come up this time, bringing the feet a little closer together. So you're in a more of an arch and flatten movement. And then taking a nice balanced arch and flatten. So inhaling and arching, rolling through the tail. Exhaling and flattening. Check that you've released any tension from your thighs, the lower leg and feet. As soon as you're ready, lengthening out one leg at a time long. Allowing the full weight to lengthen into the floor, dropping the feet to the sides, turning everything off. Taking a few moments just to feel the weight sinking down and away. And begin to notice the positioning of the legs and the turning out of the feet. The spread of the calves between the left and the right sides. How content the front of the pelvis is to open as the weight of the legs reach long. When you have gathered any information that's useful to you, moving away from any analysis, turning everything off in both the body and within the mind. And deepening a little more now in the inhale, and feeling as the inhale comes into the body, it encourages a sense of movement through the fingers and the toes. Feeling that as each inhale enters the body, the movement increases through the arms and the legs. Gently waking the body up, coming back into the space around you. Transitioning in a way that feels kind and easy